Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers, and I'm looking at a book from Bloomsbury Professional. It's a very important book for those of you involved in tribunal matters. It's this book here, the Employment Tribunals Handbook, Practice, Procedure and Strategies for Success. We'll look at the book in a minute. There's some case studies, lots of practical help for people who are going it alone, basically, in my view. It's been written now in a third edition by Payne and John Paul White, with additional help from Jonathan Dixey. We've given it the title, Aiming to Maximise Your Prospects of Success in an Employment Tribunal. Read this, because that's exactly what you need to do. A lot of people do their cases without use or recourse to legal professionals like myself. I've certainly found that in some of the tribunals I've appeared in, that the tribunal panel do not like barristers too much, and quite often they're much more used to dealing either with solicitors or lay people. So it's useful to know that just as a starter. This is the book here, that's the back cover. It runs to something approaching just over 500 pages. There's a good little index at the back. There is a case study which I think is very, very helpful, which gives you an idea of how these cases run. The book itself is structured by having, there are no footnotes, but there are paragraph numbers, which makes it easy to find what you're looking for. Do have a look at the various chapter headings, which shows you how you run through a tribunal hearing. Then there's the various statutes and the cases and so forth. The book itself is also quite useful because it has blocked out pieces, and I'll give you an example here, where you've actually got, for instance, little boxes which show particular points that may have to be made in terms of particular issues. There's also another one here, if I can find it, which sets out the sort of checklist that you're looking for. And again, I think this is very helpful for those of you who are doing it in person. Anyone contemplating involvement in an employment tribunal, whether practitioner or litigant in our view, should therefore read the book. Do read the detailed review that we've put on the web and in the journals. This book is indispensable in my view as a very modern statement of where we are. Getting advice, of course, is an important factor, but what you may have to do, because of often it's the money which is the problem right at the beginning, and the fact that you're going as an individual quite often against a big organisation with a lot of resources, you've therefore got to bear in mind what you're in for. It's pointed out by the authors, a party who displays an accurate knowledge of practice and procedure and sets out its position in a clear and persuasive way has a head start when communicating with the tribunal panel, whether orally or in writing. I fully agree with that, because I've been partly prepared sometimes and I get roasted by the panel, mainly the chairman, who says, well, you really haven't prepared this properly and so forth. They do look for a proper way in which the case is prepared. I'd have to say, if you only just got the brief before you go to court, it makes life a lot more difficult, but that's the way life is. Let me say also that this latest third edition presents a number of updates and new sections which, for example, reflect legislative changes, specifically the Equality Act 2010, and as I say, there's a useful table of contents index and so forth. If you're looking, therefore, for an erudite, lucid work of reference as an individual or as a lawyer, which offers you the best strategies for employment tribunal success, this is it. So can I thank Bloomsbury very much for what I think is a very important book in their titles, and also to Payne, John Paul White and Jonathan Dixey. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.